All right, everyone, going to be touching on the top prop bets here in week 4 of this NFL season. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I am going to be including the London game, but I will be staying away from the PM games that we are getting, okay? So London game included, Sunday PM and Monday Night Football game. They'll be on a separate dedicated video. But looking at it right now, this is going to be another pretty solid slate, it seems like, for us. Not many games are expected to be blowouts. Really, the only one that's expected to be a blowout is going to be the Cardinals versus the Niners, and I would say, yeah, that's probably going to be closer to a blowout. We have seen the Cardinals play extremely well, though, so again, it really wouldn't be too shocking to see them compete. Eagles favored by 9 points over the Commanders. Jets are almost 9-point underdogs as well. So yes, we do have some situations in which maybe if a prop's like popping up that goes against maybe the projected game flow, we might have some sort of hesitation, but for the most part, this seems to be hopefully a pretty straightforward slate. So guys, I'm just going to be going ahead and using the 9-to-5 PrizePicks cheat sheet here and just touching on the top props. And let's just go through it. Really just all the top prop bets that we are currently getting, and then I'll touch on some of the prop bets that I like as well, and I'll be getting out of here, and then I will be doing another video tomorrow as well. Obviously these lines changed a lot, and currently we are not getting any fantasy score props at all, like we saw Jordan Love on Thursday Night Football. Those can be clutch. I mean, he's been a free square in that 4 straight weeks, and what's funny is I've called it out on Twitter 4 straight weeks, and for some reason they haven't been showing it love. It's weird. Like, come on, guys. Not you guys. You guys are great. The Twitter crowd. There's several people that do, and you guys are awesome. I'll be looking at it right now. Tyler Algier. This one is strange to me. I don't really get why it is such a low number, and I know it is probably because of Robinson seeing that snap share continue to rise and rise and rise over the last 3 weeks, and that is probably going to be the reason why. Like, if Robinson continues to get around 80% of the snaps, it does make sense why Tyler Algier, why his production lately might be fluky. And this is something I've added into the cheat sheet, kind of working on it, but we can see his production for the receiving yards. Like, 2 out of 3 games has gone the over. Okay, so there is some worry there, and really just comes down to like 1 or 2 receptions. I do think Robinson, obviously the better pass catching back. It does make sense why this is being favored as the under. The worry is that he's projected to get 10.6. Definitely a worry for me. Looking at Hayden Hurst, the reason why Hayden Hurst might be a good prop is because, to me, his snap share has been a lot lower than I would have thought. Now, when we look at this game, it is a game that's kind of higher scoring, and they are 4.5-point dogs. I would say the Vikings should be able to win this game. They just kind of keep kicking themselves in the foot. If this game becomes a game in which the Panthers are playing from behind, then they might be forced to give Hayden Hurst a little bit more work. And if that occurs, then he could be someone we're looking at. But we can see right here a 3-yard difference. That is pretty big. Even compared to underdog, that is a 2-yard difference for the line that we're getting currently on PrizePicks. So there does seem to be an edge there. And the projection data has also been in the under there as well. So pretty good line that we're getting there. Dalton Kincaid over 2.5 receptions is looking like a pretty strong bet. We can see that's heavily favored right now currently on the average sportsbook odds. They're giving that about a 55% chance to hit. That's pretty much right on par with the projection data, 2.2. We look at what he has done over the weeks. He's had 4, 5, and 2. Really just depends on Dawson Knox as well. He's been someone that's probably been playing a little bit more than some people expected. Also, I would say, does depend on the game a little bit here. This game is expected to be higher scoring though, so thus it does make sense why someone like Kincaid could get that extra reception that he did not get the previous game, right? So we got 3 really good EV bets to start out this video. And then let's see if we have a 4th one. Mostert. And so guys, this really, to me, depends on how the game goes, whether or not he'll get over 12.5 rushing attempts. And I just want to warn anyone that might have picked up Devon Achane. I don't know. He corrected everyone how to pronunciate it. If you're playing him in season-long leagues, just be cautious. Like, the biggest reason, I shouldn't say that, a big factor into why he was so productive was because he was the RB2. We saw Chris Brooks as the RB3 come in and be productive as well. So yes, it's scheme, and it's also the Denver Broncos. But Ahmed was out in that game. He is currently questionable. Mike McDaniels is not someone that will typically have someone lose their job because of an injury. And so maybe proceed with caution there. That being said, Mostert's role is not going to change. He had 13 carries in that game against Denver. We know that Denver is poor against the run, okay? 18 in week 2 and only 10 in week 1. Now, the run game has been extremely efficient. If they are having success on the ground, they will run it. And let's say like they're not that successful, passing the football, and I think they will be because the Buffalo Bills safety is out. So I get why the under is being favored here, and maybe it is a more pass-heavy game. To me, I feel like this is more of a stay away. We do have, and I'll probably be covering this game a little bit more in depth as well, guys, the London game props-wise. They'll be out tomorrow. But we have over receptions for Drake London at 3.5. He is projected to get 4.2. A lot of people are going to be calling a weird narrative for it's a London game. It's Drake London. We need to be playing him. Not gonna, if you guys want to go with that, by all means do it. We saw a very weird strategy last week for the Detroit Lions, for the Atlanta Falcons. They decided to try to throw the football on the Lions for some reason. They felt like that was their best opportunity to win, was getting like Ritter over 40 passing attempts. That was a big yikes to me. And now, can they pass against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Sure, they can. And maybe that game becomes a little bit more of a shootout. I guess you could roll with that. I don't hate the idea of actually Desmond Ritter for over 3.5 rushing attempts. If this team is going to be good, he's going to need to rush the football. He did against the Packers, but I felt like that was just more of a somewhat fluky, but also schematics thing. Like the Packers are just bad against the run. We see Devon Achane. This one is super interesting. Once again, I think this really depends on Ahmed there, if he's active or not. If he's active, I like the under. If he's not active, the over actually could be decent as well. And then from there, we're just starting to get some pretty kind of tight lines, I would say. I do find it interesting that Kincaid was favored for the over receptions, whereas Dawson Knox is not. Slight edge for James Cook for over 50.7 rushing yards, not much there. So let's just go ahead and get into kind of my favorite props for this week. So one prop that I already given you guys out earlier on this week was Russell Wilson for over his passing yards. This has went up 10 yards. I still think he's going to have a good chance to really throw the football a bunch. Does worry me a little bit now that it's bumped up that much. I don't know if we need to attack that one as much. Joe Burrow, I find to be an interesting one. I think we can just scratch off that matchup against Cleveland. It was a rain game. Against Baltimore, they are seemingly a better defense than anyone thought. And then against the Rams, you take one of those T. Higgins drops and turn them into a catch. He gets the over passing yards. Now he gets an extremely easy matchup going against the Tennessee Titans. Kind of intrigued by that. I feel like that's more of a stacking opportunity. Like you could do Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for over receiving yards paired with that. Don't love it. Don't hate it. Matthew Stafford's going to be an interesting one as well, going against this Colts defense that has been beatable via the passing game. And this game actually has a sneaky chance, I would say, to be a little bit of a shootout. And so maybe you could run a game stack in there where maybe you're doing Matthew Stafford for over pass yards or maybe pass attempts once that comes out. Oh, and we are getting a couple of fantasy score props. Nice. That'll be on tomorrow's video though, just FYI. I don't mind that idea. And then with Stafford, you could obviously maybe roll with like Puka for over receiving yards. We do see that 6.5 receptions for him. Tutu Atwell was someone that I was calling out to you guys last week as a decent prop. I actually don't hate the fantasy score when they're factoring in a little bit of rushing upside and maybe a little bit of touchdown equity in there. You'd probably be better off maybe receiving yards or even catches. I would say receptions would be the better one. He is getting targeted heavily. It's just whether or not Stafford's going to be able to get the ball out. And then in that game, I do think Kyron Williams is going to be a very good producer in the passing game. I guess receiving the football. We saw him get a lot of targets. He actually has the most targets for running backs in the league right now. He's playing all the snaps as well. If that continues, like Matthew Stafford had a rough game, missed some easy passes to Kyron Williams. That is going to be a part of the offense. I don't think that's going to change at all. So I actually don't mind the idea of the over receiving yards here as well. You could pair that potentially with Matthew Stafford as well. So guys, this one kind of feels like a sneaky one as well. Westbrook, I always mess up his last name. But with Burks out, I feel like he's going to get targeted at least enough. He's a little bit more of possession guy than Burks. Ryan Tannehill freaking loves this guy as well. I don't mind the idea of over 2.5 receptions. Maybe it's a little bit of a garbage time hit. You do worry about Ryan Tannehill throwing the football against that Bengals defense that looked really good, especially with that Tennessee Titans line looking pretty bad. That does seem to be an edge there. I could see it being bumped up to 3. And this one just really stands out to me. Joshua Palmer for over 3.5 receptions. I really don't get what's going on. We don't know for sure whether or not he's going to be operating out of the slot like Mike Williams had been doing. But what we do know for sure is that when Mike Williams was banged up last year or when Keenan Allen was out last year, Joshua Palmer really stepped up in a really good way. Now, the tough part about like looking at that data just as an FYI is that Keenan Allen was coming in out of games on a couple of occasions. Same thing with Mike Williams last year. But this is going to be a pass-heavy script. We know that Austin Eckler is out in this game. I expect this number to jump. And so this is a number that I think, I don't want to say we should hammer on, but really seems like it should be a strong chance that unless Johnston operates out of the slot. That could happen. I don't expect that to happen. Then I'm kind of curious if they are playing from behind, is James Conner going to be good for his over receptions, you know, get a couple of dump offs potentially. And I just realized I had the bet of the day pulled up and I just realized I left off that Westbrook prop. I do think that's going to be a good one. Maybe I wait until we get more odds coming in on that one to really hammer that one home. These two bets right here are my personal favorites right here, and I really think that Joshua Palmer should be a good one on paper and everything. Like I'm really surprised by that line given the fact that Austin Eckler currently doubtful, and maybe that's why maybe once he gets confirmed out, this line changes. It's also a really good matchup as well. And then Kyron Williams, if he's going to continue to be on the field that much and gain those many targets, it's going to be tough for me not to see him gain that. And we're just rolling with the 3 best EV bets that we currently have. Remember, guys, I will be coming out with another video tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. That's going to have more of a fantasy score type of feel to it because I feel like those are giving us a really good edge. And I personally don't have to worry about lines changing because that sucks. When I give you guys that content, put all that effort into it, and then the lines just get bumped. But that's going to be all for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the 9-5 cheat sheet, make sure to click the link in the description below. All right. It's available for just $10 a month. Check it out. All right. Thanks for watching. Let's have a slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.